few students prefer the GMAT to the CAT. And if you're one of those students, you might be wondering how you can really score your best in the GMAT. Our careers consulting editor, Rashmi Bansal, spoke to Murtuza Gadiwala of Sharp Minds. It's a coaching institute that helps people crack the GMAT. Here are some tips.
Murtuza, you've been coaching students for the MBA entrance for the last 8 years, but in the last 2 years, you've shifted your focus to GMAT. So do you see more students taking GMAT today than earlier?
Of course, yes. That's partly because some of our own institutes, ISB and IIM Ahmedabad, have now recognized GMAT as one of the valid entrance exams. Of course, IIMA not for the regular course, but for the Executive MBA course. So since both these colleges have started accepting the GMAT score, besides, of course, all the global universities, I do see a greater demand for GMAT in the coming days.
So is the profile of the GMAT applicant different from that of the CAT applicant? Because most of the schools accepting GMAT, they do look for work experience as one of the important criteria.
If you look at CAT aspirants, a majority of them would either be freshers, students in their final year, or those who have just started working, maybe 1 year, 2 years of work ex. On the other hand, if you look at GMAT aspirants, a majority of them have significant amount of work ex.
Does one need to prepare differently for the GMAT compared to the CAT exam?
CAT is extremely competitive, as you are aware. So if you are a candidate for the CAT, in order to be able to, outperform the rest of the competition, that is preparing over a longer period, doing a regular, full-fledged kind of prep, one needs to also prepare in a similar manner to be able to remain competitive. Most candidates who prepare for the GMAT prepare over a shorter time frame. They decide to take the test, they know fine they would like to take it maybe 3 months later, 4 months later, and just start preparing for it.
So something like 3 months is enough to prepare for the GMAT?
3 to 4 months would be a good time. Unless you are fundamentally very weak in certain areas, then probably you would need some more time.
And what about the fact that GMAT is a computerized test? Do they prepare on the computer itself, or do they prepare on mock tests which are on paper?
As far as the preparation goes, GMAT tests the same kind of fundamentals as CAT and other exams do. For example, the quantitative skills are similar, the verbal skills are similar. So when you prepare for the test, you don't need to actually start preparing right away on the computer. You need to get your concepts in place. You need to know how to apply them. Whether you practice a question from a book or whether you do it on a computer, at that stage it doesn't really matter much.
So what is a good GMAT score if you're aiming to, enter a school which is maybe among the top 25 in the world?
If you're looking at a top 25 in the world, I would say you need a GMAT of at least 650 plus to remain competitive. Ideally, 700 psychologically has always been a good GMAT score. So anything over 700 enhances your chances. Besides the score, of course, the duration of work ex, the nature of work ex, the overall profile, these things also come into the picture. So I would say that someone who doesn't have a great academic record or doesn't have significant number of years behind him in terms of work ex would perhaps need a higher GMAT score, maybe 700 plus, to be able to stand a chance.
So any special advice you have for people taking the GMAT?
So when you are preparing for such a test, one thing that you have to make sure is that you do the right kind of preparation. There are good books available. There's an official GMAT guide which is published by the test takers themselves. This acts as a reliable source of reference. So these are good things that students can probably refer to and make sure that they stay on the right track in terms of the basic preparation.
Thank you so much, Murtuza, for all that advice.
Thanks.